Hey, light, happy lifers. I'm Anne Marie, and I'm here today with Melissa J from melissajcoaching.com. Hey, Melissa.
Hey,
So,
thanks for.
so in the coaching world, so sometimes we follow others, and Melissa is somebody that I personally have followed because I love her ideas about self-care, and I read her emails religiously. Plus, they're often really short, so she gets that we're all busy. And so,
Yeah.
Melissa, I thought I'd just turn it over to you briefly, and you can start and tell us a little bit about what your story is and how you embarked on this journey to self-love and self-care.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. And hello to everyone listening. I think this is such a beautiful opportunity for us to just take a little bit of time throughout the month of March to just connect with ourselves. And I think that that's really what my journey has been about is I tend to be really goal focused and driven. And over the last 3 years, I've noticed like I'm being called to really slow down.
Mhm.
And I had a lot of really difficult kind of relational stuff come up in the last 4 years. And it just prompted me to kind of step back and look at the bigger picture and really kind of self-assess, how am I caring for myself? Maybe if, relationships aren't working out the way that we want them to, ultimately the most important relationship needs to be with ourselves. And so after my dear pup Richie passed away, I just kind of had like this kind of void in my life where I just felt like, oh my goodness, my role as a dog mom has kind of shifted, and I was in a great relationship with my husband Michael, and we just kind of had life kind of, we moved out here to the mountains and moving in a direction of like what feels good, what fuels the soul. And as soon as we decided, okay, rather than kind of moving to closer to work, we need to move closer to where we feel like we need to be. And that was like in the mountains and able to connect with nature. And in that moment, my friend Jacqueline tagged me in a picture of a rescue dog named Lulu at a rescue. And she was like, as soon as I saw a picture of her, I was like, that's our girl. And so we went and we got her, Jacqueline rescued her, and then we met them. And Lulu has been this like source of kind of hope. Like she's just been this beautiful being in our lives and kind of a symbol that we were moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And it's one of those things where, so I adopted a cat a few months ago, right? And the cat's a little
Yeah.
senior kitty. He's 10 years old, and he's just a sweetheart, and he fills my life with just this love. And same
Oh,
thing, like I remember, opening the cages at the ASPCA here in Boston. And like, of course, the senior cat, so nobody's getting any attention. And I just open him, he just comes up,
totally.
and it's instant. And it's that instant connection that
Mm.
it happens when you meet people, right? Like when you meet individuals and you're like, yes, I'm totally connected with that person. It happens when you meet pets and love, but you have to be open to it. You really have to be understanding of and be aware of this to come in. And so often it's how we break down our exterior, right? How do we stop
Yeah.
people pleasing and learn to be yourself so you can be open to that type of love? Do you want to talk a
Yeah.
little bit, I know, because that was part of your journey about stopping to be such a people pleaser?
Yeah, absolutely. So kind of, yeah, how I came to get to this place was like Lulu was the symbol of kind of like this hope. And it made me realize like I was moving in the right direction, and maybe like I'm pretty academic, I'm working on my PhD. So I can kind of get all over the place and I'll say yes to everything. And and I started to look at that and be like, well, why am I saying yes? And it was really guilt driven. And so when I step back and look at guilt, it's because I care. It's also very exhausting because I'm not putting myself first. And so I'm of the belief that the more we prioritize our self-care, the better able we are to show up. And we're also better able to stop, take a moment, and and ask, is this going to fuel me, or is this going to actually kind of be like taking on way too much? And so yeah, instead of moving into the yes 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 people pleasing, I'm instead being mindful, stepping back and just checking in with myself. Is this something that I really want to say yes to, or is it okay to say no?
Yeah. And something that you made a really interesting analogy to that I never really thought about, quite frankly, is self-care and self-love, right? And so often we think of self-love as something that is selfish, right?
Yeah.
It's, I joke that if you bought the face mask and it's in your cabinet, take 15 minutes and use it, right? If you're like, I don't have time. Well, it's like that self-care. We're not being vain, right? It's like, it is time for yourself and self-love. So talk to me a little bit about how that idea of self-care really enhances relationship, not only with yourself and then with others, right? As with your husband and with Lulu and
Yeah, for sure. Well, I would say that I believe wholeheartedly that the cornerstone of mental health is self-care.
Yeah.
And in that, when we're better caring for ourselves, we attract and we're able to really nurture some really amazing relationships that nurture us. And that can be in our families or with our friendships and with people that we collaborate with, where it's like, oh, we just jive. And when I back that up, I think like if we're caring for ourselves, we're not only tapping into like creating space for self-care, we're actually starting to come home to like that self-love and really caring deeply for ourselves, which actually models what it's like to really love yourself to the people that we care about. So for moms, when you're taking care of yourself by creating space for self-care, like doing that mask, you went out, you bought that mask. It's like, now it's important to use it so that your little ones can see, oh, mom is taking care of herself. Maybe it's okay for me to take care of myself as well.
Yeah.
It's modeling us.
That's great. And so often I hear from women that they are so busy, they're overwhelmed, they're stressed, right? Like I ask, how are you? And they're like, I'm so busy, right? It's an epidemic, and it's at the end of the day, they're exhausted and it's just part of life, right? There's so many things coming at us right now and you have so much going on, but there's nothing left because you haven't been taking care of yourself. And this is we're not talking luxury here. This is, what do you need to do? Do you need to call your girlfriend? Do you need to go for a walk, right? There's zero cost in that.
Literally, like it can be anything and it can be throughout your day. It can be, okay, do I need to get to bed a little bit earlier tonight so that I can like just lay on my pillow silently, maybe meditate for a little bit, but just kind of reconnect with yourself and really kind of fill up your tank so that tomorrow you're going to be able to really like show up and be there and be present with the people that you love.
Yeah. And be present and also understand like where your distractions are and what do you need. And a lot of that is coming in internally in mindfulness, just like you and your husband realizing that you needed to be in the mountains and being open to be aware that Lulu was the puppy for you, right? Yeah. Like you have to be aware to these signs. Like the signs are out there. It's just, if you are running on empty and you're not having self-care, like you can't see them.
It's so true. And so, I think the first thing to go, like what you're talking about is so in line with my core belief system. It's like when we get busy and we get moving too fast, the first thing to go is self-care.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if it becomes the first thing that we go to, we are far more able to show up and kind of approach those different responsibilities and enjoy them. Yeah. Because I'm sure that so many of the things that we say yes to are actually things that we wanted to do because we love them. We love the people that we're surrounded with. So it's like, we need to kind of create space for us to refuel so that we can enjoy our beautiful lives that we've created.
Yeah, exactly. So we can shine, right?
Yeah, we want to shine.
That's awesome. So you are giving away an enrollment in your Align series. So do you want to tell us a little bit about Align?
Absolutely, yeah. So Align is a 4-part online self-care course that I created. And really it's very short. Like I've kind of done it in 20-minute intervals so that people who have full lives, which most of us do, can do it in bite-sized pieces. You can do it all at once if you want to, or you can come back to it. And really what it's about is creating a self-care practice that really works for you. And not only creating it, but finding ways to practice it every day and to make it sustainable. Because at the end of the day, it's great to do all sorts of courses and we're taking in so much information, but we need to have something that we just can continue returning to, which is what I love about yoga. Yoga is a practice. It's not the same every day. So we just need to keep returning to the practice of self-care as well.
Yeah. I like to think of self-care as a ritual, right? And because as soon as you make it a ritual, right, then it becomes something that you have to do, right? It's not, this is not a choice. This is a ritual, right? And you don't want to be fanatic about it in any way, shape, or form, but it's like
Right.
you are that priority.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Like right now in this moment, a way that I've been able to support myself through self-care so that I can be present with you, Anne-Marie, is I have a heat bag, which I love. Being warm to me is self-care. So I have this like on my feet with some warm, cozy socks. And like, that's just a way that I can really kind of care for myself and be loving towards myself so that I'm present with you.
Yeah, we're both totally in winter climates right now, just by the way. So same thing. So my self-care is my argan oil hand cream, which, because like my hands get so dry in the winter. But same thing, like otherwise, like, you know, these are distractions, right? Because if you're not
Yeah.
taking care of yourself, I couldn't interact with you this way. Like if I was constantly like, oh my gosh, my hands hurt, right? Then
Yeah.
it's a small thing, but this is not a luxury in any way, shape, or form, right? This is just something that we do. And same, I'm all about the warm feet in the winter.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, I would invite your listeners to feel free to sign up for the Align course if it feels like my work is resonating with them.
Yeah.
And really, it's like a free course, and you can come back to it whenever you want to. And it's really, I created it for people who feel like life is so full and there's no time for self-care.
Perfect. That's absolutely perfect. That just makes me feel like I'm wrapped in your nice warm.
Oh, that's so nice.
So here's the question I'm asking everyone this month. What's your secret to a light, happy life?
Yeah, I think when at the end of the day, there is something really important about me slowing down.
Yeah.
I see myself as a hummingbird, kind of all over the place fluttering, but even hummingbirds have to land. And so the mountains, which I have, these are my favorite mountains, the Three Sisters, they're right outside my window.
Oh.
And I think that that's it. It's just like finding something that really grounds me and coming back to just being still and okay and with myself.
I love that. I'm getting goosebumps. Like I feel that so powerfully coming off of you. Oh, Melissa, it is such a joy speaking with you. I really, really appreciate you sharing time and your perspective on self-care because it's so important.
Oh, thanks, Anne-Marie, for having me. This is a privilege.
Oh,
Thank you.
awesome. All right. Have a great day.
You too.